Hello, everyone. I'm Tyler Woods. I'm the Bulletproof Pastor, and I am responding to Brad and Christa from Big Family Homestead and their 2 pound challenge. Now, this 2 pound challenge hits right to the core of what it means to be a prepper and be prepared for things for bad things to come. And one of the major things that are always emphasized in preparedness is, oh, you got to have a whole lot of wheat berries. Now, wheat berries are whole grain wheat, and it comes in various varieties. There's soft white wheat, there's hard white wheat, and there's hard red wheat. And some of it's called spring wheat, winter wheat, different things like that. But basically, there are a couple of different, those are major categories. The soft white wheat makes crackers and cakes and pancakes fabulously. The soft white or the hard white wheat makes really good breads. The hard red wheat makes a very dark, heavy bread. So now there's other things too. There's all different varieties of ancient grains, and there is the flour that you make pasta out of, and that's a different one as well. So all of these are specialty things, but the wheat basically that is preparedness minded is set up in those three categories. And you're told to get so many, like 200 pounds per person per year to get you through. But Brad brought up a great challenge with this 2 pound challenge. He says, look, I want to see you do something with this. I want to see you take 2 pounds of wheat and turn it into something. Turn it into some kind of a food that you can eat. And and that's no problem for some of us, but there are a lot of preppers who they think they're prepared because they went out and bought a bunch of seed from Lowe's or Walmart or ordered them over the internet, and they've got them up in their closet. And if they ever need food, boy, I tell you, they're going to take those seeds out, throw them in the ground, stand back, and pull in a harvest. Let me tell you something, it takes a little more than that to grow a successful garden. In fact, starting a brand new garden on virgin ground takes approximately 3 years to get it to fully produce and to produce well. And that's with somebody who has a lot of knowledge about gardening. To learn to become a gardener, you can plan on about 7 years worth of learning before you're really going to be comfortable putting stuff in the ground and expecting a harvest. Same thing with the preparedness things. There are places you can order number 10 tin cans, the great big cans, and they will hold all manner of wheat that will last 50 years easy on your shelf. But do you know what to do with it? It doesn't do much good to sit there in the can if you can't turn it into something you can eat. And thinking about preparedness, I set for myself a couple of rules. Number one is I would not use any electric appliance to grind the wheat or do anything of the sort. It was all going to be things that would not normally function in a loss of infrastructure environment. Now, I did use our stove, but only in the same manner that I could use a fire outdoors. I mean, it would be any source of heat could cook this. I did not use an oven to bake a loaf of bread, but I did. I did use the stove, but understandably, I could have used a campfire to do the same thing. All right, let's take a look at what I used. First of all, there we go. Here is my wheat. Now this is the wheat that I chose, and 2 pounds of wheat equated to about 3 cups of, these are called wheat berries. They're whole grain wheat, just like it's harvested out of the field. The problem with wheat is as soon as you crush the wheat and you mix the germ with the kernel, it starts to break down. It starts to go bad. It won't last more than about 3 to 6 months before the flour will go bad. It turns rancid. And in this form, this wheat will last 30 years. They found wheat in tombs in Egypt that had been there for thousands of years, and they found out that about 50% of the wheat germinated. And actually, they've recovered an ancient grain from that. But this wheat is durable, just like it is. So I took this 3 cups of wheat and wheat berries, these are called, and I ground them. Now I have a Country Harvest grain mill. It is manually operated. You turn it by a hand crank, and it can be made motorized. It can be belt driven off of a bicycle. You can do a lot of ways to get the thing to run off of other means of power. Mine runs off of a hand crank. So I pour the wheat berries in the top and start cranking. And you get a pretty good workout cranking out your own wheat. And I ground that wheat into a fine flour. Then what I chose to make, I do bake bread. I also make my own sourdough yeast starter, and I've made all of that myself. We have not, we didn't buy any of the ingredients that go into the starter. We made it with our own wheat, our own water, and cultured our own yeast and got it started. And the only rising element in these, in what I made, was the sourdough yeast, the wild yeasts. And from this, I decided not to make a loaf of bread. I could have, but instead of a loaf of bread, because that would have taken an oven, and you can make a bread oven by stacking up rocks and building a fire in it, heat up the rocks, and use the residual heat to bake a loaf of bread. But I figured what would be easier in a grid down environment, and I made English muffins. English muffins are fabulous little miniature loaves of bread, if you will. And they can be hamburger buns, they can be a sandwich. You can toast them and eat them just like they are. They are really, really good, and these turned out fantastic. So I made them. They have to rise overnight, and these are about 3-inch diameter cookie cutout loaves of sourdough bread, if you will. And these are now on a big cookie sheet, and they are proofing. They will sit there for an hour and rise. Then after an hour, they go into a frying pan set on very, very low. And low heat, frying pan, throw a little bit of cornmeal in there so they don't stick. And you basically fry them. You cook them on a cast iron frying pan. And they last about 5 minutes on one side, then you flip them over, they're nice golden brown, and on the other side you cook them about 3 or 4 minutes. When they're done, here's what they look like. Okay, I got 11 of these English muffins made up, and you can see I opened one up. They're good, and they got all the holes in there that hold that melted butter in there. I hope you're getting hungry. And these make fantastic hamburger buns or sandwiches, or you could just eat them as they are. They turned out really, really good. And here you go, Brad. My twist on what to do with 2 pounds of wheat berries. I turned mine into English muffins. And by the way, I would love to have you come over, and I would offer you that English muffin that I opened up right there, but it's already gone. It died in a bath of butter and toasting it, and then butter, and I ate it, and it was really, really good. Let me tell you, this isn't roughing it at all. So I hope you enjoyed it, and come up with another challenge. This will be a fun one. Challenge accepted, challenge answered, my friend. Your turn. God bless you all. This is Tyler Woods, the Bulletproof Pastor.